Good evening and welcome to African Today Crime. Tonight, we report on a case of attempted murder that occurred on the 4th of June 2025 in Potacot, Nigeria. The incident involves a well-known socialite, Odogwu Melvin, and his close associate and business partner, a young man identified simply as CJ. And according to reports from eyewitnesses and sources close to the case, CJ had visited Melvin at his residence, what was expected to be a routine visit between friends and business partners took a deadly turn. While inside the apartment, CJ allegedly attacked Melvin with a knife, slashes his throat, and Melvin reportedly began screaming for help, desperately pleading with CJ not to kill him. The commotion drew the attention of neighbors who forced their way into the locked apartment. There, they found Melvin lying face down in a pool of blood near the doorway. Wearing only his underwear, beside him was CJ, fully clothed, his white shirt soaked in blood, lying still as if he too had been attacked. At first, the neighbors believed both men had been assaulted. However, it soon became apparent that only Melvin was injured and CJ was unscathed. The assumption that CJ was also a victim quickly fell apart when neighbors noticed his lack of injuries. He was immediately restrained and later handed over to the police. Upon arrest, CJ allegedly claimed that he acted in self-defense after Melvin made a sexual advance toward him. He told officers that Melvin had tried to touch him inappropriately, prompting the violent reaction. However, CJ appeared to have believed Melvin was already dead when he made the accusation. His claim raised serious questions, especially considering the series of suspicious actions that followed the attack. From the account of eyewitness, after the stabbing, CJ demanded a bank transfer from Melvin in his weakened state. So Melvin reportedly transferred an undisclosed sum, rumored to be between 500,000 naira and 1 million naira, to CJ. Only after receiving the bank alert did CJ allegedly continue the attack, even as Melvin was bleeding out. This act led many to believe the attack was premeditated and financially motivated. Sources close to both men revealed that Melvin had invested in CJ's budding luxury retail business, which involved the sale of high-end watches, shoes, and bags. CJ, a recent graduate from Enugu State, was reportedly struggling to repay profit of return to Melvin. This has led to a growing theory that the attempted murder may have stemmed from a financial dispute, not a spontaneous act of self-defense. There is also the issue of the weapon. Some sources claim CJ brought the knife with him, suggesting premeditation. Others argue it may have come from Melvin's own kitchen. The knife's origin could determine whether this was a pre-planned attack or an escalation of an argument. Adding to the complexity of this case, CJ's social media activity paints a concerning picture. Posts retrieved from his Twitter and Instagram accounts suggest a strong obsession with acquiring wealth by any means necessary. If CJ indeed brought the knife from his home, pretended to be a victim, and tried to rob a man he had been friends with for nearly a year, then his self-defense claim begins to fall apart. This narrative is also too familiar. Victims of such crimes often do not survive, leaving only the attacker's side of the story. But in this case, Melvin survived. Melvin is currently receiving medical treatment and is expected to recover. While he has not yet released a public statement, his survivor ensures that CJ's claims will be scrutinized and hopefully challenged in court. CJ remains in police custody and is expected to face charges of attempted murder and robbery. Legal experts suggest that unless CJ can provide convincing evidence such as incriminating text messages or call records, his defense may not hold up in court. This case is still under investigation and more facts are expected to emerge. If there is any information that you think you want to give to us, feel free to state it in the comment below, or rather, consult us by our email. Be sure to subscribe and stay updated for future developments on this story. This is Pretty Boy on African Today Crime. Stay safe and stay vigilant. Goodbye. January 13, 2025. It was supposed to be a normal Monday in Onitsha, Anambra State, for 39-year-old Ifeoma Esther Onyekwelu, a respected bank manager and devoted daughter. It was just another day at work. She dressed in her usual formal attire and headed out, unaware that this would be a final journey. That day, Ifeoma vanished without a trace. No one knew where she was. No calls, no messages, just silence. Panic set in quickly. By nightfall, her family reported her missing. Then came the call. A voice on the other end, cold and emotionless, demanded 14 million. They claimed they had Ifeoma, and if the money wasn't paid, she would never be seen alive again. The family, desperate and shaking, began raising the money. But what they didn't know was that Ifeoma was already living through hell. In the days that followed, disturbing whispers spread. It was said that Ifeoma was reportedly abused, used, violated, reduced to an object by men who had no regard for life. Her only crime, knowing one of them. They say Ifeoma began to recognize a voice, a face. Perhaps it was a customer from the bank, a man she had once smiled at behind the counter, or a neighbor she passed every morning to her place of work. Immediately, the kidnappers suspected she might expose them. Their plan changed. On a cold and quiet night, our captors led her to a lonely stretch along Nobi, Alo Road in Idemili South. There, they executed her. Brutally, heartlessly, even after death, they had the audacity to collect the 14 million ransom from a grieving family. And when the family begged to have her body back, the kidnappers casually told them where they dumped her remains. Her lifeless body was discovered, eyes blindfolded, hands tied, left in the bush like discarded waste. A young woman who once handled millions in cash, now worth nothing to the men who took her life. But justice was on its way. On May 28, 2025, over 4 months after the gruesome murder, 2 suspects were arrested. Monday Egbe, age 32, and Kenneth Noga, age 28. Tracked by the Anambra State Police to a criminal hideout in a neighboring state. Police sources revealed the 2 were directly involved in the abduction and killing of Ifeoma Esther. And as interrogations continued, more names are expected to surface. The search for the rest of the gang is now in full swing. The Commissioner of Police CP Ikoye Orugutu has vowed that no criminal will escape the long arm of the law. He reassured Anambra that the command remains committed to protecting lives and property, and that the murder of Ifeoma will not go unpunished. On February 1, 2025, Ifeoma Esther Onyekwelu was laid to rest, buried in her father's compound in Amoji village, Agulu, Anaocha local government. She was loved, respected, and terribly missed. Her mother could barely speak. Her father clutched a photo of his only daughter, his heart shattered beyond repair. We may never know the full extent of what Ifeoma endured in those final days, but we know this: she didn't deserve to die. She didn't deserve the fear, the pain, or the betrayal. Her story is a chilling reminder that evil sometimes walks among us unnoticed. It could be a stranger or someone you know. May Ifeoma's soul find peace, and may justice come for every woman whose voice was silenced too soon. This has been African Today Crime. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and never forget, justice, though delayed, will not be denied. Kindly do us a favor by subscribing to our channel, that is if you've not, and also don't forget to turn on the post notification bell icon. Please like and share this video. Comment your thoughts in the comment box below. Thank you.